Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Sam from Korean Association, and welcome to Candidates Corner. And we're the recipient of the King County Voter Education Fund grant since last year, and so we have this digital studio now here at Korean Association, and so fortunate that we're able to do these videos. And the whole reason why we do this is not as an endorsement basis, but rather and also on a non-partisan basis. But a lot of times when you go to the polls and you review your the ballot, it's like, really, who are our candidates? And so our goal really behind this is just to get to know our candidates on a kind of personal level, a little bit more about their platform, and that you really make the decision in terms of the voter. So most importantly, it's just important to just show up. Let's just show up. So our goal is to be more informed and educated voters before you kind of rush to your decision. And
Yes.
so based on that, we're very, very pleased and honored to have with us Dr. Trinh Ha. Hello, Dr. Ha. How are you? Welcome.
Very well. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. We don't do this, but it's okay. We can mix that in. Thanks for being culturally sensitive. Yeah, appreciate that. She's awesome. But Trin is running for Congress here for Congressional District 8. And so we just like to hear from her and just share just a little bit about who she is. So Trin, thank you again for coming. Just talk a little about maybe perhaps your background, and
Sure.
then prior to running for Congress here, perhaps just a little bit more about your kind of just work,
Sure.
civic engagement experience.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sam. It's an honor to be here, and I want to thank the Greater Seattle Korean Association for this opportunity. My name is Trinh Ha. I'm running for U.S. Congress in the Washington's 8th District. I come from a refugee family. My father was an intelligence officer in South Vietnam,
Mm,
and during the Vietnam War, my dad worked with American soldiers and advisors
mm,
to stop communist insurgents from carrying out attacks against civilians and government officials. When that war came to an end, the communist government that came to power placed him in hard labor camps for 7 long years. And alone, my mother carried our family of 4 through famine and persecution. And we came to the States in 1995 through a program that was created for survivors of communist labor camps. And we came carrying nothing but hope. But here we found freedom, we found opportunity, and for once, the future was within our control.
mm, mm,
And so I went on to earn a doctorate, a PhD from UC Berkeley, where I
mm,
taught undergraduates literature and history,
mm,
and where I ran a scholarly journal for 5 years at UC Press. I then went on to work at the Department of Veterans Affairs, um, being part of 3 key projects. One was to expand veterans' educational access through the GI Bill. 2 was to build up programs to help those who care for disabled veterans. And then finally, most importantly, investigating fraud targeting veterans. So we were able to uncover hundreds of millions of dollars in fraud, waste, and abuse, and recover millions for those who
mm.
serve our country. That was one of the most meaningful projects I've been on, and I'm very thankful to have had that opportunity to repay America for all that she's given me and my family.
Amazing. That's so
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Ha. By the way, I forgot to mention, but you may be wondering why I'm wearing these Korean flags on my face.
I wish I could have those too.
I got some extra tattoos and this T-shirt because I am proud to be a Korean American, but it's not like I do this every day. But the reason why is because today is the official kickoff of World Cup here in Seattle, and
Yes.
then of course the Korea starts today. They're playing Czech Republic, and so I gotta go host a watch party at South Center Mall here after this. So thank you again for coming in, and go South Korea and go USA and whoever else is in the World Cup.
My father
Yeah.
watches the World Cup religiously.
Oh
He
wow.
stays up 2, 3 a.m. in the morning to watch it, and I
Oh
can
my
tell
gosh.
you, he cheers on for the South Korean team. Yes.
Yay.
So,
Yay. Good
yes.
answer. Good answer. Yeah. I mean, fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll do well. So, Dr. Ha, with
Yes.
your background, how do you think your experiences growing up and your experiences you shared, during as a refugee, and how do you think that informs your work today and why that's important, and perhaps just some of the things that you see currently in Washington State that you feel perhaps could do better or perhaps a change?
Sure.
Yeah.
Before everything else, I am a mother. I've got two wonderful boys at home, and I understand the impact that the affordability crisis has on everyday families.
Hmm.
We're rising prices, rising gas prices, homes are increasingly out of reach. All that makes it difficult for us to prepare for our children's future.
Mm,
And I think the first thing we need to do is address affordability. And that means looking at home prices and what we can do to bring it down.
mm,
The average age for first-time home buyers in the US, in Washington, is 40. And
mhm.
in the
Wow.
Seattle, Bellevue metropolitan area, it's
Hmm.
actually 50.
Really? Mm,
Yes, and home buying, home ownership has long been part of the American dream
right.
because it's the way we establish stability and build intergenerational wealth. Well, that piece of the American dream is slipping further out of reach because of one reality. We can't lower the cost of homes if we don't build enough homes.
Mm,
And so, what I hope to do is a few things. One, we need to cut federal permitting delays so that builders can
okay.
build.
Okay.
Two, we need to
Because
improve,
time is money.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
we need to improve supply chain for construction materials
Okay.
and lower the cost of construction materials.
Mm,
Three, we need to invest in the infrastructure that's needed for growth. So roads, sewers, water, electricity.
okay.
And fourth, I think we need to create the incentives for the construction of starter homes, either smaller, less costly homes
Hmm.
that nurses, teachers, police officers, tradespeople, young families can start buying so they can afford to live where they serve.
Yeah.
So I think that's key to addressing the affordability crisis, and
Mm,
that's key to especially immigrant families that are trying to start a family
mm,
and care for their and build the future for their children.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, Now you're running for Congress in District 8.
Yes.
So can you talk a little about what the areas specifically that District 8 covers, and perhaps some of the things, areas where you feel perhaps maybe needed for improvement, or
Sure.
things that you can, if elected, you can apply your experiences and skill sets to,
Yes.
specific to District 8?
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
District 8 is very complex.
Hmm.
It covers about 8,000, the square,
Households or
nearly 800,000 residents.
wow,
And it encompasses
huge. Okay. Hmm.
six different counties. So
Okay.
Snohomish County, King County, Pierce County.
Hmm.
It goes across the Cascade Mountains, and then it's Kittitas County,
Hmm.
Chelan County, and it's just a tiny sliver of Douglas County.
Hmm.
So we've got on the west side the technical hub, so where Microsoft
Hmm.
and Amazon are based. And then on the east side is the agricultural heartland of Washington,
Hmm.
where many of the family farms are located.
Hmm.
Um, it's also
So
one of
pretty
the most
diverse.
very
Yeah.
diverse,
Hmm.
yes.
Yeah.
It's also one of the most highly educated
Hmm.
congressional districts in the country. We
Okay.
have 45% holding at least a bachelor's degree,
Mm, wow.
and also one of the highest earning
In the
districts
country. In the
in the
country.
country.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
I think the median income is 127,000
Mm,
compared to
okay.
about 85
Wow.
nationally.
Okay.
Yep. So as you can tell, the political makeup is very different.
Hmm.
We have a good part of the East that is more leaning left.
Hmm.
A good part of the East leans right. So the West leans left, and
Okay.
there's a
Oh, I
good
see.
percentage of independents in the district.
Hmm.
I think there are important issues to address, especially for farmers in the district. They feed families, they feed communities, and actually they feed the world.
Hmm.
And many of them are facing rising costs, labor shortages, and crushing regulations. Two family farms close every day. That
Mm,
number
wow.
is disheartening. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think,
That's heartbeat of America. Right
yes,
there. Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and I think we need to do more to support um, small business owners,
Mm, okay.
which make up about 96% of businesses in the district. 96% of all businesses in the district are small businesses.
Okay.
And
Oh, that's a lot.
they
Okay.
account for 6 out of 10 every hires. So
Hmm.
really, it's not a stretch to say that small businesses make up the economic backbone of the
Yeah.
district.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there are 2 things that can be done immediately to
Okay.
create the
That's what I was
environment.
going to ask you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
To create the environment for small businesses can grow and thrive.
Yeah.
One, we need to lower the cost of energy. That affects almost every business.
Okay.
So I support
Gas.
domestic energy
Gas.
production.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
domestic energy production.
Okay.
I also would support reducing the environmental regulations that drive up fuel and electricity costs unnecessarily.
Mm,
And I
okay.
think one other measure that can be taken immediately to help small businesses is to allow immediate expensing. So when a business buys a machine,
Mhm.
an equipment, a truck, they should be able to write it off immediately and
Mm.
not wait for years for that expense
Mhm.
to expense it.
Okay.
That would allow them to reinvest the money and hire more workers and grow their business.
Yeah.
S- Yep.
Okay. Thank you. I get asked, because Korean Association, I mean, we've represented the Korean American community here, and
Yeah.
now we're very much multi-ethnic, but
Yes.
we have over 30 different ethnic partnerships outside of the Korean community, but
Sure.
since 1967. And so we get asked all the time, it's just like, why? Why is this happening to us as a small business owner?
Yeah.
My friends in, Texas or Georgia, wherever, that
Yeah.
they're flourishing. And
Yeah.
you spoke a little bit about these are the actionable steps that you would take, which is great. But perhaps what have been maybe some of the, I guess, kind of gaps or
Mhm.
that have been in place that have led to these questions in the first place? Yeah, up until now. And
Yeah.
these are the areas that also can be improved upon as well, correct? Yeah.
I think part
Yeah.
of it is that small business owners haven't really had a seat at the table at the
Okay.
federal level,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
We
So what
provide,
do you mean by that? No,
so
elaborate on that.
we
Yeah.
we need to have an a venue for small business owners in the district can come together and
Hmm.
speak up and
Okay.
share with the elected officials, especially at the federal level,
Okay.
their concerns and the challenges they're facing. That's
Hmm.
one.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think one other mm, issue that might affect small businesses too is
Hmm.
that we've for long placed the focus on 4-year college degrees as the
Hmm.
pathway to a successful workforce.
Hmm.
I think now with the advent of AI and
Hmm.
the transformational shift in how jobs, what kind of jobs get hired, we need
Yeah.
to place emphasis on apprenticeships, training
Okay.
programs, right?
Hmm.
Those can also prepare people for very successful, rewarding careers. And I think at the state and the federal level, we need to make more investments in such programs.
Mm. You know, the main reason why we're doing this is to educate and inform
Sure.
so that we can be more informed voters to make the best educated decision as possible when you go to vote.
Yes.
Now, at the congressional level, that is a partisan race. And if you could just share, many times
Yes.
when people vote, simply, there's some bias there
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yes.
And my personal feeling is that a lot of that is there simply because they may not have the full context
Hmm.
or the background. And so, could you speak to perhaps maybe why it's important to get to know your candidate as opposed to perhaps maybe a party line?
Yeah.
Is that an important, valid question?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I think these days we have been so polarized that we choose our candidates based on the letter next to our name
Mm,
instead of spending the time to learn who the candidates are,
yeah.
what their background is, what they can bring to the table, and what their policies are. I think it's important to take time to understand that. And programs like yours
Yeah.
does exactly that to educate voters.
Mhm,
I would encourage voters to take a step back,
mhm,
to remove ourselves a little bit from the polarizing politics,
mm.
um, and give ourselves the time to understand and get to know the candidates. Um, One of the questions that I get asked most
Yeah,
often is,
yeah.
why don't you publicize or why don't you lead with your party affiliation? And I tell people that party affiliation information is public information. You can look for it online.
Sure.
But I don't like to lead with it because I want people to see me through who I am, what experiences I can bring,
Mm.
and my vision for Congress. Yeah. And it takes time to understand all of that,
Mm.
and it's better not to dismiss anyone based on their party affiliation.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well said. So in summary, as opposed to looking at the letter from that lens at first glance,
Yeah.
let's maybe table that, and most importantly, get to know the candidate first,
Yes.
and then make your decision.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, great.
Because at the end of the
Yeah,
day, I
yeah.
think everyday Americans are concerned about their well-being,
Mhm.
their children's well-being, making sure that the
Mhm.
schools are good to prepare their children for a bright future,
Right,
to make sure that gas and houses are affordable,
right.
to make sure the streets are safe enough for business and families to thrive,
Sure.
to make sure that the government stays accountable,
Yeah.
to make sure that the borders are secure so that there's protection for American citizens. So I think those are the basic concerns of everyday Americans. It's not whether a candidate is a Republican or a Democrat or something
Okay.
else. Yeah.
Mm. I felt it was necessary to ask that question because
Mhm.
it comes up a lot,
Sure.
and I feel like we need to maybe dispel that
Yes.
a
Thank
little
you.
bit. Yeah. Can we also quickly speak to just briefly on this? But I'm a child of an immigrant family.
So am I?
Yeah,
Yes.
and you're an immigrant.
Yes.
Now there's currently a broad spectrum of how people currently here and also nationwide are currently perceiving the current status at the federal level of what may be going on as to the um, treatment of recent or new immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we nobody would argue that we need to have secure borders and
Mm.
protection for people, our children and families.
Well, some people will argue against that.
Yeah. So, oh, really? Yeah, exactly. Do you have an opinion? Could we ask? And if so, what is that? As an immigrant speaking to that, yeah.
So let
Yeah.
maybe get
Okay.
straight to the point.
Yeah,
I think
let's do it. Yeah.
I support ICE because ICE is carrying out policies that are passed by Congress.
Fair
I
enough.
think if we need to change that, we should do
Okay.
so through the federal levers of power.
Okay.
I also come from an immigrant background. My family came here legally. We actually waited years and years and years.
Yeah.
And my parents had to borrow money from relatives, friends, neighbors in order to have enough to buy our tickets here.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for us to respect the law and follow the process, the legal process to enter the country. I think that no matter how compassionate we are, a nation can only have so many resources. And once we use those resources to support, we take resources to support one segment of the population, we're actually taking it from a different segment. So that there needs to be that balance. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think there are many families struggling with paying for their childcare, paying for their health care,
Yeah.
paying for their houses. There are veterans who are homeless.
Yeah.
There are children who need shelter. So those resources can be put to take care of citizens of this country first.
Right.
Yeah.
I asked that question also because, again, our goal here is not to be a proponent of any particular view.
Mm-hmm.
Our goal here is to have an open table for conversation and understand and listen to all views on particular topics. Yeah. And so one last question, if I may,
Of
on
course.
going back to small businesses, particularly, and this may not affect District 8, but particularly in Seattle area, this issue of not only public safety, but protecting my business, because we want my business to be a safe place for families to come and enjoy, whether it be food or restaurant, and not have any particular kind of concern or care. And some places, I would be, like myself, I'll be reluctant to take my family, to be honest.
Yes. Yeah.
And perhaps maybe the current drug crisis, if you will, or which may lead to a lot of the homelessness that's there. Do you have some real solutions or like an opinion or thoughts on how we could maybe be, for me, my goal is if we can help them in some way, get them back on their feet, That's what I think. But I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on that, if you have any. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the question of how to help small businesses
Yeah.
thrive
Right.
is linked
How can we
directly,
give them assurance
right?
that they will thrive
Right.
too, right? Yeah. Yeah.
It's linked to public safety and linked
Okay.
to law enforcement. Yeah,
Okay.
and thank you for drawing that connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here are a few troubling numbers. Washington is ranked 51st in terms of police officers per capita.
Really, still.
51st, yes. The national average is 2.5 commissioned officers per 1,000 residents. We're at 1.5,
Wow.
even below Washington, D.C.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we need to invest more money to hire more officers to keep our streets safe.
Is that part of your platform?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And part of that is the state's responsibility, but at the federal level, we can certainly increase the funding for that. Yeah.
Mm.
And two, I think we need to let go of the catch and release program and reevaluate how we deal with recidivists and violent offenders, repeated violent offenders. We need to not create incentive for criminals to continue to carry out their conduct and make our communities unsafe. So I would advocate for 6 months in rehab for drug users who continue to commit crimes. And after those 6 months, if there is a change, we should be able to channel them through work programs or rehabilitation programs. And I think that is the way to do it. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then finally, as I mentioned, we're a Korean association, but we represent not only the AA and HPI community as a whole, but communities of color and all people who relate and empathize. So, as a Korean American, Vietnamese American, and I can speak to the Korean community a little bit, but I just found out a troubling number, but with King County voter education, but the ethnicity of new and young voters that are turning out, kind of Korea is last, Korean. And so I didn't know that. I thought it'd be the other way around, because we have quite a few Korean electeds here in Washington State, if you compare it to the country. And so that number is a little bit troubling to me, but maybe if this is your opportunity to speak to our AA and HPI community and to our future generation, our future leaders, as to why it's important to get out there, get involved, civic engagement, get involved with your community, and then ultimately go out to vote. What's your encouragement to them? Yeah.
As someone who grew up in a refugee immigrant community, I understand firsthand the challenges of families who are, newly arrived in the United States.
We're so busy.
We're
right?
so busy.
Yeah.
We focus on, we're learning a new language, we're navigating unfamiliar systems, we're focusing on building a career, raising our family, and finding opportunities for our children. Those are concerns of parents who are really focused on, who really want to build a better future for their children. Asian Americans have contributed tremendously to America's economic well-being. And we, for long, have really put our heads down and focus on our work, but we don't involve ourselves in the politics of America at all. And I think it is time for us to stand up and be more involved in politics. That means voting. That means encouraging our children to pursue careers that are related to politics, whether that's running for elected office or be involved in school administration. I think that representation really comes when we speak up, and we have to make sure that our voices are heard. So my commitment is to be visible in every part of the district, to make sure that I talk to faith organizations, community leaders, small business owners, and families to make sure that their concerns and voices are heard. And as an Asian American myself, I feel that we need to build the bridge, to lay down the groundwork so that future generations can have a stepping stone and be more involved in politics. We ourselves need to do the work to lay that foundation and to encourage our young children and let them know that politics is not a stigma. It affects every aspect of our daily life.
Yeah. I think many may be jaded, right?
Yes,
Because they
many
see
big
what's
jaded.
going on. And so it's a stark reminder that, hey, it doesn't have to be that way.
Yes.
And we can affect change, like you can affect change.
Yes, I would
And
also say that
yeah.
many of us, particularly Chinese Americans, Vietnamese Americans, but also Korean Americans,
Mhm.
don't have the tradition of being involved in a democracy, a constitutional democracy, right?
In
For
the home
me,
country.
yes, in our
Oh,
home
okay.
country.
Mhm.
For instance, in Vietnam, we
Mhm.
were in a feudal society for a long time, and then we were under the French colonialism.
Mhm.
And for a very short while in South Vietnam, there was some election, right?
Right.
But that
And Korea
practice,
had Japanese occupation.
right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so that only lasted decades. We don't
Mhm.
have the tradition of knowing our rights, that protecting,
That's an interesting
standing
point.
up and
Yeah.
protecting.
It's rooted in culture. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we need a bit of hand holding, and I think that's where being connected with leaders from both sides, Democrats and Republicans,
Mhm.
can make the big difference. So building that partnership, so you, for instance, have done
Yeah.
a very good job, and then using
You
you.
notice how it comes out.
But that
Yeah.
partnership really is the bridge
Mhm.
we build for our future, our children.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Ha. And finally, what are some of the needs of your campaign and how can people help you? And do you have a website that you could share? Or yeah.
Yes, we do have a website. It is trinhaforcongress.com, all spelled out. We're very active on Facebook and Instagram. We hope that you can join us there and see all the updates of the campaign. Right now, we're in the final stretch of the second quarter, which closes at the end of June. We're planning 2 fundraising events for this month, one in Bellevue and one in Puyallup, and we hope that you could come join us, come and learn more about what we're doing for the campaign, of how we get our way all the way to November. Come meet elected officials and key members of the conservative movement here and learn more about what they're doing to to strengthen their reach into Asian American communities. All that information will be published on our Facebook and on Instagram, as well as on our website. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ha.
Thank you, sir.
Now maybe we can
감사합니다.
maybe you can go check out the South Korea versus Czech game.
Yes,
All right.
let's do that.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye.